Welcome to EDML 8170, Instructional Leadership and Curriculum Planning. In this Week 1 narrated PowerPoint, we'll have an overview of the course, discuss the field of curriculum, and philosophical foundations of curriculum. My name is Dr. Beatrice Kunka, and I'm a professor of education. I've been in the field of education since 1989 when I became a third grade teacher while earning my master's in educational administration. Then I served as a kindergarten through 8th grade principal. Then I went out to California State University, Bakersfield, and started teaching there while completing my doctorate in educational administration and foundations. Since that time, I've been teaching at California State University, Bakersfield. I was appointed the Director of Education at a satellite campus. Then I came to Robert Morris University 10 years ago to be Department Head of Elementary Education, a department that no longer exists. Then I went over to the Department of Organizational Leadership and served as their department head and was a faculty member there. And then I had the opportunity to return to the Department of Education last January and enthusiastically took that opportunity. As you know, as an online doctoral student, there was a need for professors who have experience in teaching online to join the department. And I've actually been teaching online, I think for 20 years now. So I'm thrilled to be able to be your professor in this online course. My research agenda has been in the field of teaching diverse students in K-12 education as well as higher education. And while I was in organizational leadership, I looked at diversity in organizations and diversity initiatives in organizations. I also have a bachelor's degree in biology. I have experience teaching elementary science methods, and this fall I'm teaching early childhood mathematics methods here in the Department of Education. At this point, I'd like to review the syllabus. I think it would be best if you had a hard copy of the syllabus in front of you, or you went over to the Start Here menu and open the syllabus and refer to it as we move through it. Again, this course is an online course in instructional leadership and curriculum planning. And at the top of the syllabus, you'll see my name, my office hours, my office phone, and my email. I will tell you it's best to communicate with me via email if you wish to get a hold of me quickly. Now, there are 3 required texts. The first one, the Ornstein, Pajak, and Ornstein, Contemporary Issues in Curriculum. We're going to be using this text for the 6 case studies that are in there. You'll also be reading the text. The second text is Curriculum Foundations, and you'll be writing reflective journals on each of the 10 chapters in this text. And then the required writing text is the APA Manual, 6th edition. Some of you may have this already. It was published in 2010, and we're still using the 6th edition APA formatting today. So if you have this text, obviously you don't have to repurchase it. The course description. This course provides an overview of the foundations, principles, and issues in curriculum. It will also explore approaches, definitions, domains, theories and curriculum, and the role of curriculum workers and leaders in the educational setting. The course also focuses on curriculum development and design and examines the role of curriculum in both teaching and learning. Finally, this course places emphasis on the major contributors in the field of curriculum and supervision and examines past and current trends and issues in curriculum. Now, I understand that not everyone in this course is a teacher or a school administrator. I know there are students who are in the military and strive to become leaders in the military, or, conduct trainings. I also am aware that there are students in the corporate sector who want to complete this degree to learn how to conduct training programs, staff development, etc. So my goal is to reach out to all three groups and beyond, rather than exclusively focus on school leadership or school curriculum, because all training programs have a curriculum, and so this course will be relevant to those of you outside of the school setting. Okay, on the second page of the syllabus, you see the major areas of study and the course objectives, learning outcomes. I'm not going to read through those. I'll let you read those on your own. Now, going down at the bottom of page 2, you'll see the course requirements. As a faculty, the doctoral faculty developed an attendance policy for online doctoral courses. And I'm going to read this to you now. And if you have any questions about this, feel free to email me, and I'd be happy to respond to you. The attendance policy for online doctoral courses. Student participation in the EDML PhD online program is an important part of the teaching and learning process. The opportunity to work closely with fellow cohort members and the professor by engaging in weekly threaded discussions, group assignments, case studies, and self-reflective narrative assignments in the online course shell, meaning Blackboard, are important components of this doctoral program. Thus, ongoing, consistent, and timely participation is mandatory for all online students. That means you have to be in the course, actively participating for all of the 8 weeks that this course runs. In the event, however, of some serious illness, family emergency, or other circumstance occurs which may make it impossible for you to participate in the course discussion, group assignments, or other course assignments, you should notify your instructor immediately. It is understood that only an extremely serious and compelling reason would necessitate an inability to participate for an entire week. Examples being emergency hospitalization of you or a child member, or the death of an immediate family member. This statement's in there because even if you did have an illness or some other crisis in your life, it's assumed that you would be able to participate at some level. However, in extreme situations like you were hospitalized unexpectedly, or say one of your parents or siblings or spouse or child passed away, it would be perfectly understandable that you would be not be participating in the shell for that week. However, it is at the discretion of the faculty member, me, to excuse or not excuse non-participation. There should be no more than one excused non-participation period during any 8-week course. If a student misses 2 weeks, the student will fail the course, because you're missing 25% of the course. Also, a student who is not excused for a week of non-participation will automatically fail the course. I know this seems harsh, but in the online environment, it's key that you are actively engaged, particularly in a course that's only 8 weeks in duration. A student who is granted an excused non-participation period would be responsible for completing the materials and assignments during that period. However, the weekly threaded discussions cannot be made up because you're interacting with your peers and me in that discussion, and that's more of it's a periodic necessity that you're actively engaged in that week. However, the threaded I said that already. Students must follow the rules established for each class by the instructor of record of that particular course. Number 2, students are expected to complete all assignments in the course and to meet all required deadlines for papers, presentations, etc. in order to receive course credit. I do not accept late work unless you contact me before the due date with a serious and compelling reason. And again, that would be my prerogative whether I would accept those assignments late. And because this is a cohort-based program, you are expected to perform as a team member and support your classmates. Okay, let's move on to the assignments, which are an assessment of the learning outcomes. Okay, number 1, each week there will be a narrated PowerPoint lecture, which I will conduct with some call-out questions. There's no points associated with this, yet I do expect that you will reflect upon the questions that I ask and determine or search for responses to them. There's no points associated with this. However, I am not going to regurgitate what's in the text. I'm going to give you, you'll see like headings from the text, but I'm going to give you my own perspective on each of those topics. So it's worth your while to watch the weekly PowerPoints. 2, there are weekly discussions in Blackboard. There are 2 discussions each week. They're each worth 20 points. So that's, if you look at the equation there, that's a total of 320 points. So that's, it's really important that you engage in that, particularly in the online environment. It's a way. Well, I've moved to slide 4, but I've already discussed this information, so we're going to move over to slide 5. Sorry for the confusion. All right, now we're on the correct slide. We're on the learning outcomes, and I'm at the last bullet point. I'm discussing the curriculum research project. All right, so back to step 1 at the bottom of page 3 on the syllabus. Colleagues inspire and support each other in their research and practices. Not only will you conduct your own research, but you will also provide constructive feedback to your colleagues. In a Blackboard blog created for this purpose by the professor, you will post your topic and an abstract, which is a summary of your research, between 150 to 250 words. You will respond to the blog post's topic and abstract of at least 2 peers and provide constructive feedback. Once in the blog, if you see that 2 students have already provided feedback to another student's post, then proceed to posts of other students who do not have 2 feedback posts. Now, before this PowerPoint presentation is over, I'm actually going to, well, no, I don't think I can do that. I'm sorry. There's information on how to access these blogs, and and I'll be posting announcements and emailing you and responding to any email questions that you might have about this. Okay, so within step 1, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to post your topic and abstract and in the blog. And the blog is entitled Topic Abstract. And it's due on week 2. And the way you find this blog is on the left-hand column of Blackboard. You scroll all the way down to Users and Groups. You click on that and then click on Groups. And that will open up and it will show you two blogs. You are going to go to the one that says Topic Abstract. You go in there and you make a blog post, which is your topic and your abstract. And that is due week 2. Then, the second step of step 1 is you're going to go back in to that blog and you're going to select 2 peers and you're going to provide constructive feedback to their topic and abstract. And that's worth 50 points, 25 points per student whom you provide feedback to, and that's due at week 3. Now the way you're going to provide feedback is you're going to reply to their blog post. You're going to reply to their topic abstract post. You're not going to make a new separate post of your own. So you're going to respond to 2 peers as a reply, providing them with constructive feedback. Now the third part of step 1 is you're going to look at the feedback that 2 of your fellow students have provided you, and you're going to respond to that, and then you're going to write a final draft of your topic and abstract. And you're going to post this revised topic abstract under the assignment link in week 4. You're not going to post it in the blog. And that's worth 25 points and it's due week 4. All right, now the second step to your curriculum research it's actually the major part of this 3-step assignment. You're going to write a critical paper on your curriculum topic using curriculum theories as they relate to your research of the topic, your own research, and your experiences, interests for inspiration. The paper length should be within the 8 to 10 page range, not including your cover sheet, your title page, cover sheet, or otherwise known as a title page, your abstract page, and your reference page. It should be double-spaced and adhere to all form and style requirements of your APA 6th edition text. Your complete paper should include all the following components: title page and abstract page, the main content on the body of your paper with the proper headings and formatting, references, and an annotated bibliography. Now, we will be discussing what an annotated bibliography is in a future PowerPoint narrative. So don't fret too much about it right now. Okay, now the third step of this assignment is to prepare a narrated PowerPoint presentation of your research paper. This 15-minute presentation should encapsulate the key points of your critical paper. You must present your paper as if you are presenting at a professional conference. You're going to post your narrated presentation in the blog created for this purpose by the professor. Now, remember I told you the way to access the blog is to go to the left-hand column, scroll down to Users and Groups, click on that, then click on Groups, and you'll see the 2 blogs. Now you've already used the first blog, Topic Abstract, for the posting and the feedback of your topic abstract assignment. Now there's a second blog called Narrated PowerPoint Presentation, and you're going to open that up and you're going to post your narrated presentation there. This way, everyone can see it. Everyone can review your presentation and learn something about your particular interest in curriculum. All right. Okay, now we're on slide 6 of this PowerPoint presentation. I would like to make one comment about the narrated PowerPoint presentation that you're going to develop. That is worth 200 points, and it's due week 6. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, I don't know how to do a narrated PowerPoint. Well, I didn't either until this morning. I went to the Blackboard site, and they have tutorials on how to do these things. And I took a PowerPoint tutorial developed by a curriculum designer here at Robert Morris University, and I taught myself how to do it. And as I'm sure you can see, it's not perfect, but I'm learning. So it's based on what version of PowerPoint you have. Like I have PowerPoint 2010 on my university laptop. If you have PowerPoint 2013, there's also a tutorial for that version in the Blackboard site. So let me know if you have any questions about that. All right, let's move on to another set of course assignments or case studies. You're going to be reading case studies from the Contemporary Issues in Curriculum text. This text includes 6 case studies. You will write a narrative response to each of the questions following each case study. Please write the question in bold, followed by your response in non-bold, regular type. The paper length should be limited to 2 pages, double-spaced, APA 6th edition format, submitted individually. This is not a group assignment. Each case study is worth 20 points, and there is a rubric in this syllabus and also under the Start Here menu in the Blackboard shell. All right, special dissertation review. As a way of better understanding the research in curriculum and curriculum planning, a number of current dissertations on this subject, as well as many other subjects, have been purchased and are available in the Robert Morris University Library. I want you to select one dissertation, read the document carefully with primary focus on the following key components: the problem statement and/or hypothesis, questions, methodology, results, and the significance of the study. The purpose is to better understand the dissertation as a research study. Hopefully, this will help you as you begin work on your dissertation proposal. The requirements of this assignment is to read the dissertation and write a summative review of the above-mentioned components. It would be 2 pages in length, APA 6th edition format required, and there's a rubric in the syllabus. This is due on week 5, and it's worth 20 points. Now you'll see some text inserted here that's in a different font. This was from an email that I received from Dr. Clinton, who is a professor and a Robert Morris University librarian. And I copied and pasted this from her email because I wanted it to stand out so that you can see this is how you access the dissertations that are in our library. And if you follow those steps, you should be able to find a dissertation. All right, now the next set of assignments are reflective journals. There are 10 chapters in the text Curriculum Foundations. You're going to reflect on the readings from each of these chapters, and as well as discussions that took place over the week. I want you to summarize and provide a reaction to what you have learned that particular week from reading that chapter or chapters and the discussions that we've had and the PowerPoint presentations. Given that there are 10 chapters in this text, you will be completing a total of 10 reflective journals. There is a rubric in the syllabus, and I expect that you would spend about an hour per chapter, reading it and writing the journals, and they're 20 points each. Then there is a final examination. The final examination will consist of 4 essay questions. Each question is worth 50 points for a total of 200 points. I'd like you to retype each question in bold type, followed by the response in regular type, non-bold. Each response should be a minimum of 2 pages in length. Please number each question. APA 6th edition format is not required for this exam, and there is a rubric in the syllabus and in Blackboard, and it's due on week 8. Okay, let's look at the grading. There's the grading scale is at the bottom of page 5. It's the standard scale that we use in the doctoral program. If you receive a percentage below 70%, you will fail the course, but I'm confident that everyone is going to do very well. There's also, on the following page, there's page 6, there's also a breakdown of how I calculate your grades, discussions, curriculum research paper, dissertation assignment, reflective journals, case studies, and final exam. The total possible points that you can earn in this course is 1,460. So I total your points that you've earned at the end of the course. I divide it by 1460 to get a percentage, and then I assign your grade. All right, now we're on slide 7, which is rubrics. And the rubrics for the discussions, the reflective journal, and the case study are included in the syllabus, and they're also in the Blackboard shell under the Start Here link. Now, the writing rubric for the case study and the dissertation assignment will also apply to the curriculum research paper and final exam. I'll adopt it. I know the points are different, but I will adopt it. The expectations are the same. With the exception of the final exam, I do not expect APA 6th edition format on that. I do want to call your attention to the discussion rubric. If you look on page 8, you will see a statement in red. Students are required to participate at least 3 different days of the week. Failure to do so will result in a point reduction of 10 points. Now, I know this might sound harsh, but in my past experience, if I don't do this, I have students that post all their posts on one day. And my goal here is I want you participating throughout the week, actively engaged with your peers and myself in this discussion. Now, the first initial post is due by Wednesday, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and your final, I actually will grade your discussion following the final due date time of Sunday at 11:59 p.m. In fact, all assignments are due by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. And I normally go in on Monday and start grading. So I am not one who waits 2, 3, 4 weeks to grade work. My goal is to have it all graded before, within that week. So, because I want you to receive timely feedback from me. So, like if you did lose some points on something, you'll receive feedback from me and know how you can modify that in future assignments. Okay. And of course, if you have any questions about this, please feel free to send me an email. All right, moving on to university policies. This begins on page 11 of the syllabus, and I'm not going to read through these. I'm going to let you read through them. But I will highlight that if you are diagnosed with a learning disability or you have a physical limitation, we do have a Center for Student Success that will assist you. And I've worked with many students through who've qualified for this accommodation. So there is the number there for the Center for Student Success. Call that if you need assistance there, and then they will notify me. It's entirely confidential. And then there's a section on plagiarism and minimum technology requirements. And the textbook policy just states that you expected to have all of your textbooks the first day of class. And moving on to Robert Morris University email. You know, all of you have a Robert Morris University email account, and we only use those accounts to communicate with faculty, staff, administrators, and students. The reason for that is, you know, I suppose, is that we could get viruses or whatever from other email accounts. So I know some students have their RMU email forwarded to a different email, but you are required to use your Robert Morris email and to check it on a daily basis. Okay. Then there's a section on course hours from the Pennsylvania Department of Education. It just breaks down on page 14 how many hours we're spending on different types of assignments to satisfy the Pennsylvania Department of Education. All right, now the next section is the weekly schedule. In addition to having the weekly schedule, let me pause for a moment. All right, here we are on slide 9, weekly schedule. Now, as I stated, the weekly schedule can be found in the syllabus and in Blackboard. In Blackboard, in the left-hand column, you will see headings such as week 1, week 2, week 3, all the way down to week 8. And if you click on, say, week 1, you're going to see what is listed in week 1 on the bottom of page 14 of your syllabus. There will be the reading assignments, the discussions, the reflective journals, the case studies, etc. will be listed under each weekly topic, as well as the topic we're going to be discussing that week and which course objectives we're meeting in that particular week. Okay. Yeah. Well, we've concluded the course overview and the review of the syllabus and all the required assignments, etc. If you have any questions, you can go to the discussion board, and at the top of the discussion board, there is a place for course questions, and all students can see it. So if you ask a question, I'll respond to it, and then it may answer that same question for other students. So please take advantage of that, and don't hesitate to email me either directly if it's a more private question, or post a more general question in the discussion board section. Okay, we're going to go on and discuss the field of curriculum. Now, as I said, I'm not going to regurgitate what's in the book, but I do have the headings here, and I'm going to add my own information from my my experience in my education. All right, so the field of curriculum, there are 3 curriculum approaches: the behavioral approach, the managerial approach, and the systems approach. I'm sorry, there are actually 6, and we'll look at 3 on this slide. Behavioral approach, this is focused on, as you can guess, behavior. This approach is grounded in scientific principles. Everything the students do must be observable, as this is the evidence that the student has achieved the goals and objectives, which are also based on observable behaviors. All activities lead to students being able to do whatever the goals and objectives specify. Even today, most curriculums are behavioral in focus, as this is very easy to assess or evaluate. The managerial approach. In this approach, the principal of the school is the curriculum leader, and at the same time, the instructional leader, who is supposed to be the general manager. The general manager sets the policies and priorities, establishes the direction of change and innovation, and planning and organizing curriculum and instruction. School administrators are less concerned about the content than about organization and implementation. They are less concerned about subject matter, methods, and materials than improving the curriculum. Curriculum managers look at curriculum changes and innovations as they administer the resources and restructure the schools. Clearly, this approach doesn't involve input from the faculty of the school, which I see as a negative. The systems approach. This is a simplified approach to course and curriculum design. It considers the target population characteristics and topic area. It estimates relevant existing skills and knowledge of learners. It formulates objectives and learning outcomes. It selects appropriate instructional methods. It operates a course or curriculum, or you implement the course or curriculum, and then you assess and evaluate. The remaining three curriculum approaches are on the next slide, slide 11. The academic approach is more focused on the structure of knowledge and organization of subject matter into subjects. The training and development of the mind is what is important. Observable actions are not as significant in this approach. When people adopt this approach, they believe in training the mind like a muscle. A strong muscle can be used in many different ways, just as a strong mind can be used in many different occupations in life. The humanistic approach is a non-technical approach. It favors the artistic, physical, and cultural aspects of subject matter. It considers the need for self-reflectiveness and self-actualization among learners. The focus is on socio-psychological dynamics of classrooms and schools. It is rooted in progressive philosophy and the child-centered movement of the early 1900s. It gained further impetus in the 1940s and 1950s with the growth of child psychology and humanistic psychology. It became popular again in the 1970s as relevancy, radical school reform, open education, and alternative education became part of the reform movement in education. Now, the postmodern approach focuses on individual differences in learning rather than uniformity of thought, knowledge, practice, and curriculum. It identifies and responds to students with different learning styles. It recognizes the difference in how each student learns and has brought special education into the fold. The view on gifted and handicapped or disabled students, which was rather negative in terms of similarity and unity in modernism, has greatly changed. In the postmodern era, those students are supported with much more and better treatment than in the modern era. So we're currently in the postmodern phase of curriculum. All right, what is the definition of curriculum? Curriculum typically refers to the knowledge and skills students are expected to learn, which includes the learning standards or learning objectives they are expected to meet, the units and lessons that teachers teach, the assignments and projects given to students, the books, materials, videos, presentations, and reading used in a course, and the tests. assessments, and other methods used to evaluate student learning. An individual teacher's curriculum, for example, would be the specific learning standards, lessons, assignments, and materials used to organize and teach a particular course. In many cases, teachers develop their own curricula, often refining and improving them over years, although it is also common for teachers to adapt lessons and syllabi created by other teachers, use curriculum templates and guides to structure their lessons and courses, or purchase prepackaged curricula from individuals and companies. In some cases, schools purchase comprehensive multi-grade curriculum packages, often in a particular subject area such as mathematics, that teachers are required to use or follow. Curriculum may also encompass the school's academic requirements for graduation, such as the courses students have to take and pass, the number of credits students must complete, and other requirements such as completing a capstone project or a certain number of community service hours. Generally speaking, curriculum takes many different forms in schools, too many to comprehensively catalog here. Curriculum domains include curriculum development, curriculum design, planned and unplanned curriculum. Curriculum development is defined as planned, purposeful, progressive, and systematic process in order to create positive improvements in the educational system. Every time there are changes or developments happening around the world, the school curricula are affected. Curriculum design identifies the elements of the curriculum, states the relationships they are to each other, indicates the principles of organization, and the requirements of that organization for the administrative conditions under which it is to operate. Now, planned curriculum is a type of curriculum which refers to the planned programs of objectives, content offered by the schools. It's also considered the formal curriculum. The unplanned curriculum, or the informal curriculum, is what is indirectly taught through the planned curriculum. From theory to practice. For those of you who are in the schools and you're fascinated with curriculum and instruction, you can complete a curriculum certification program, and that qualifies you to be outside the classroom as a curriculum and instruction designer or manager, whatever the title of the school gives that sort of person. So there are avenues for you to pursue this certification or this specialization if you wish to do so. Okay. The text adequately defines the role of the curriculum worker or the curriculum specialist or the curriculum and instruction specialist in a school district or in another type of organization. They have certain responsibilities. They work with students and teachers and administrators, and there are particular standards that they must meet, which are addressed in the certification programs. But one of the most important things they do is they oversee the testing, whether it's the high-stakes testing, like the PSEAs given at the end of each academic year in particular grade levels. The major philosophies in education are listed on slide 17. Idealism, this is a theory that ultimate reality lies in a realm transcending phenomena. It's a theory that the essential nature of reality lies in consciousness or reason. An idealistic person strives for something that may or may not be attainable. Realism is the quality of being very much like real life, the quality of seeming to be real. The philosophy is based in what can be attained if you take certain steps. Pragmatism is a very practical approach to the curriculum. Existentialism is chiefly a 20th century philosophical movement embracing diverse doctrines but centering on analysis of individual existence in an unfathomable universe and the plight of the individual who must assume ultimate responsibility for acts of free will without any certain knowledge of what is right or wrong or good or bad. The final slide of this presentation looks at specific educational philosophies. Perennialism. Perennialists believe that the focus of education should be the ideas that have lasted over the centuries. They believe the ideas are as relevant and meaningful today as when they were written. They recommend that students learn from reading and analyzing the works by history's finest thinkers and writers. Essentialism is an educational philosophy whose adherents believe that children should learn the traditional basic subjects thoroughly, like the 3 R's. In this philosophical school of thought, the aim is to instill students with the essentials of academic knowledge, enacting a back-to-basics approach. Progressivism is a philosophy that espouses that education should focus on the whole child rather than on the content or the teacher. This educational philosophy stresses that students should test ideas by active experimentation. Learning is rooted in the questions of learners that arise through experiencing the world. Reconstructionism is a philosophy that emphasizes the addressing of social questions in a quest to create a better society and worldwide democracy. Reconstructionist educators focus on a curriculum that highlights social reform as the aim of education. Well, that concludes our first narrated PowerPoint, and I want to thank you for your patience as I learned how to do this, and I can assure you that week 2's PowerPoint will run a bit more smoothly. I'm so excited to be working with you. I know I met you at the June luncheon during your residency week, and I look forward to working with you over the next 8 weeks. Take care and have a great week. I have one last comment. I just viewed and listened to my narration, and I wanted to apologize for the sound that I was making and mispronunciation of a few words. I'm in the middle of getting 5 dental implants, and without going into too much gory detail, I had 5 teeth extracted, and I'm wearing this plastic appliance with fake teeth in it, and it does impact my pronunciation of certain words, and I'm not speaking as clearly as I normally would. But I'm hoping to have all this completed in the next few months, and the next online course you may have with me, I should be speaking much more normally. So I thank you for your patience with that and your understanding. Okay. Thank you. I'll see you, or we'll meet again in my week 2 PowerPoint.